Nickelodeon was launched on April 1st, 1979. It was branded as the first ever children's network. And hey, they lived up to that, creating some of the most iconic and beloved TV shows for an entire generation of kids. You know, at least until like 5 p.m. or something. Because in 1985, Nickelodeon would launch a new programming block aimed at a more grown-up audience, simply named Nick at Nite.
A flick of the switch, a spin of the dial, one little move can make you smile. Nick at Nite is the turn on that you love.
The purpose of Nick at Nite was to air programming aimed at parents. After a long day of their kid watching Kenan and Kel, maybe they just want to unwind and watch Leave It to Beaver or something, like when they were kids. Nick at Nite didn't initially have original programming. They would instead air syndicated TV sitcoms, movies, etc. Shows your great-grandma would enjoy, like I Love Lucy, The Honeymooners, The Bob Newhart Show, that Nickelodeon classic. You get the picture. For the longest time, my weekends would be ruined with Nick at Nite. I'd be enjoying my Saturday night watching cartoons when all of a sudden this boring black and white show would come on. So I changed the channel to Cartoon Network. Now, while I do have some negative memories with Nick at Nite, there are some really positive ones. Nick at Nite is where I first discovered shows like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, That 70s Show, and George Lopez. I got this! And as the years went on, Nick at Nite would eventually start creating their own original programming that I did find charming. Sometimes. So today I want to jump into the world of Nick at Nite. We're not going to go over every sitcom because we'd be here all day. Plus, a lot of them are just shows you can find on any other channel. What we are going to do though is just go through Nick at Nite's original programming as well as a few sitcoms. A few, mind you, that help define what I think of when I think Nick at Nite. This video is brought to you by Pi.org. What is Pi? A tasty treat? Well, yeah, kinda. Pi.org is a browser extension that allows you to block ads and get paid doing so. Here's how it works. You visit your favorite websites, and that's it. Bye-bye ads and hello rewards. Hover over the extension in your browser and you'll see that you're receiving rewards. You can even turn on visual mode to see how clean the site is now. There's a couple of ways you can earn rewards for using Pi.org. Instant rewards allow users to earn rewards when clicking into a Pi-approved ad. Their ads work simply by seeing certain ads. Get paid with each view. I love using Pi considering ads are already a massive problem and I'm gonna end up blocking them one way or another. So why not get paid for it? What are you waiting for? Get your piece of the pie now by going to pi.org/ConnerTheWaffle or click that link in the description and add to your Google Chrome extension today. It's really as simple as that. So block away and thank you Pi.org for sponsoring this video. The first ever original Nick at Nite show we're gonna talk about is On the Television.
Hello everybody, I'm Dan Clark, TV critic for Dial Digest.
And I'm Kevin Rush, television critic for your TV Weekly Log, and we are On the Television.
I have never heard of this in my life, so I was pretty excited to dive into it. The show was released in 1989, which always blows my mind. I forget Nickelodeon just isn't a product of the tubular 90s. On the Television is a parody of a program called At the Movies, hosted by OG reviewers Siskel and Ebert. What their show comprised of was previewing upcoming movies and giving their thoughts, as well as just general movie reviews.
And what's the meaning of it all? Who knows and who cares? Star Wars became the new box office champion by providing pure 100% escapist entertainment.
Anyway, On the Television was a parody of that, where our two hosts would preview fake TV shows, and we, the viewer, would get to see a preview of said TV show.
Hey, you behind the tree. What are you looking at? Hey!
And may I just say, they are so awful. They are the worst, unfunny, uninteresting things I have ever seen.
Well, I was thinking, perhaps I would tape it to the top of my head.
Uninteresting is the worst offender in my opinion, because at least if it's not funny, I would forgive it if it was clever. These skits go on for 5 minutes at a time, but it feels way longer with just how aimless they are. There's never really a punchline or anything.
Well, Don, I've had a lot of fun, and everybody here's just been so lovely, especially...
The comedy just seems to be, look guys, we can be edgier on Nickelodeon now.
You're such a weak sissy of a man.
Yeah, and you got a flat chest.
I don't know. I'm an adult, and I don't see how a parent or even teenager would be entertained by this. Look at Saturday Night Live. You can still be goofy and over the top while attracting an older demographic audience. So why here are we actively being boring?
I never thought about it, but I guess I could be mistook for a small elk running around crazy like an old coot.
Every segment just feels like they're actually trying to make a TV show or something. Again, no real punchline. The few jokes that exist always fall flat on their face. The only redeeming factor is the cheap 90s Nickelodeon production, bad acting, bad sets. There is a charm to it.
They're okay.
Hey, what's wrong with the arm? It looks bent.
Oh, you're mistaken. It's not bent.
I knew he should have taped it to the back of his neck.
On the Television ran from 1989 to 1991, having 2 seasons and 40 episodes. There's a whole compilation on YouTube that also includes old 90s commercials that were airing during the program, and honestly, they were a much better watch than the show itself.
Okay, it's a game, Jenga, but how do you please play? Don't get started. You take a piece off the bottom, you put it on the top, but don't.
Check it out for a few minutes and enjoy the 90s cheese. Hi, honey, I'm home.
Like they say, I majored in the 3 C's. Cooking, cleaning, and kids.
A sitcom that had an interesting release schedule. It would air Friday nights on ABC while having a re-airing Sunday nights on Nick at Nite. However, come season 2, its final season, it would air exclusively on Nick at Nite, which is not a good thing for the show's future. Hi Honey, I'm Home follows a woman named Honey Nielsen. She's your typical 50s housewife who cooks, cleans, and is pretty vapid and generally silly.
Yo! Brownie?
However, she's living in the time of the 90s. It's a good old fish out of water sitcom. Honey's neighbor is a woman named Elaine, who's the antithesis of the 50s housewife. She's strong, confident, and the big dog in the household.
She's the woman, it's her job. What business is this of yours?
We women have to stick together, that's what. This woman is my sister.
You never told me you had a sister.
Heck, episode 1 starts off from her point of view, thinking that she's gonna be the main character. That's pretty much the entire show. Honey has a husband, son, and daughter who are all archetypes of the 50s. Her son is a nerd, and her daughter is a preppy pretty blonde. Every episode has them interacting with Elaine's family in one way or another, and trying to make sense of this weird Brady Bunch-ass Nick at Nite family.
Now that I'm thinking for myself, I was wondering, could you be just the teensiest bit nicer to Lloyd?
No.
I honestly did find it really entertaining. I went in expecting it to just be 50s people messing around with the 90s people, but it's actually a lot deeper than that. You see, we're taking these archetypes of the 50s and needing to show them that their way of life wasn't exactly great. Especially with Honey, learning that she's a woman who has rights and should be more than just the cook and cleaner.
You see, Lloyd, sitcom housewives have to be best friends with their next-door neighbors.
You gals have it all wrong. I'm Honey's best friend, and she's mine. We're all we need.
These episodes also contain commercials. God bless you for whoever recorded this. With a name like The Search for the Funniest Mom in America, you know you're kind of in for some dookie. In 2005, Nick at Nite created a reality show to find the funny moms, I guess.
Went outside, a little kid was like, why you got a sheet on? I was like, I'm a Power Ranger.
It was the mid-2000s, so reality shows were all the rave, which I think kind of hinders the funny. The concept has a group of moms needing to compete in challenges, usually all stand-up related, telling jokes in front of kids, setting up a booth at a mall, so forth and so on. The show starts off with 10 moms all competing for the grand prize of $50,000, as well as the chance to create their own Nick at Nite program. However, none of these shows ever came to fruition. Sorry, winners. As I said earlier, the reality show aspect is really weak. None of these moms are trying to create drama or be aggressively unlikable. They're just actual moms trying to get a foot into the comedy entertainment door. But reality TV shows need that drama aspect to be entertaining. If people aren't getting into arguments or being unlikable, then reality TV is boring.
I didn't realize they shrank down that much, Chef.
It's a bit like your brain. Not only is it shrunk, but it's disappeared.
Here, it feels more like we're watching a vlog with normal people.
Chris and I work out because it is an excellent way for me to get a teenage boy to talk to his mother about things he probably wouldn't talk to her about.
The stand-up segments are obviously the highlights. Personally though, I didn't find a lot of it funny. Despite being on Nick at Night, a lot of the jokes felt like they were aimed at kids still.
And I hit him in the stomach. He was like, what'd you hit me for, Mom? I said, because jokes have punchlines, baby.
Now hey, don't get me wrong, I'd rather have this than the modern day Amy Schumer unfunny woman type of jokes. Remember Nick Mom, a weird programming block in the 2010s? They also had women's stand-up routines, and it was god-awful.
Mom, you're still a good-looking woman. A bunch of my friends think you're hot. Ew, that's gross. Really?
Shut up! Skylar. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
The search for the funniest mom in America ran for 3 seasons, from 2005 to 2007. If you just want some good old, clean, mid-2000s comedy, then this is for you. Alright, we got our first Nick at Night original animated series, Fatherhood. In Fatherhood, we follow the Bimblebeep family. What a name. It's actually based off of a book by the same name. A book written by...
Oh my goodness!
Oh, wonderful! Billiard Cosby. So I guess this book is about how to be a wonderful father according to Bill Cosby. He had a meeting with the man who was voicing the main character in this cartoon to try and slip into the role better. Cosby said, when you're a father, you have to constantly be straddling the line between being a disciplinarian and loving your kid. Sometimes we err on the side of being too friendly with our kids, and sometimes we can be too stern. Make sure that whatever you're doing, whatever you're saying, is coming from a place of love, and that will inform the tone of the voice. And then he said, now drink this. No, I'm just kidding. Now to be fair, the cartoon doesn't really have anything else to do with Bill Cosby apart from the title, which is good, because Fatherhood is actually a very heartwarming and charming cartoon. We follow Arthur Dindlebeep just being a dad. Cosby's quote was actually important to the premise of the show. Every episode has Arthur needing to deal with a situation involving his kids. He has a teenage daughter, an elementary school daughter, and a preteen son. Basically covering all of the spectrums a parent might need to deal with. The charm comes from Arthur needing to learn how to approach each situation.
Give me your cell phone.
Oh, what?
I said, give me your cell phone. Can you hear me now?
Sometimes he needs to be authoritative and strict, while other times he may need to be understanding and soften up a bit. He's not played up like a typical stupid cartoon dad. He feels like a real person trying to navigate being a parent. What he thinks is the right thing to do may not be correct, while other times it is the right thing to do and he needs to have his kids understand it.
Do you know why I like going to Grandma and Grandpa's? Because I love them and they love me.
1 out of 3 is not bad.
There's a very easygoing pace to the whole thing, at least from the few episodes I watched. It's a feel-good cartoon that feels real. It's also visually very beautiful, and all of that is a rarity in adult animation. And who do we have to thank for this? That's right, Charles Kipps, thank you, sir. Please don't have a criminal history. Alright, so this one isn't exactly a Nick at Night original, but God, is it the one show I always think of when I think Nick at Night. The TV show everyone woke up to at 3 a.m. on a Saturday, when you know you fell asleep watching a different channel. But in your groggy state, when you start to open your eyes, all you see and hear is... George Lopez follows the everyday misadventures of George Lopez. I guess you could call him the #1 Mexican comedian at the time, as in all of his movies, TV shows, and stand-up routines were about being Mexican.
Why does she need to know how to swim? We're already here.
It's a fun show. George Lopez gets into hijinks with his family. We got his super hot wife Angie, his stupid son Max, his stupid daughter Carmen, and his bitch mom Benny.
You have lost every privilege except breathing. You're never leaving this house.
I have to go to school.
Not anymore.
The best way to talk about this show is just to mention the moments. George himself is a wise ass who has a snarky remark for every occasion. And honestly, he would probably be an annoying dad to have around.
And remember, everything in this house is my stuff.
Mom!
Sasuke, don't talk to her. She's my stuff too.
George is a good guy who does love his family. His quirkiness is usually what leads them to shenanigans. Like whenever his kids act up, you can't really blame them. George is such a dick, it's so funny.
Yeah, go back to that kissing booth. I'd rather kiss strangers than Carmen too.
As a kid though, I never thought that. George has this youthful energy to him that I always viewed him as the fun dad who you'd probably let you do anything if it was kinda funny.
Wait a minute. There's a guard gate. How did you get in?
How did I get in? Like this? What's a pizza? Pizza for your family?
Of course though, one of the more infamous George Lopez moments were the flashback scenes, where we saw the actors' adult superimposed heads on children's bodies. And yeah, it's about as horrifying as it sounds. I mean, what else do you want me to say? It's a hilarious show that really doesn't have any low points. Every episode is full of laughs, great jokes, and quotable moments I still use to this day.
Well, it's hard for me to be unlikable, but I'll give it a shot.
To me and many others, it's more than just your 3 a.m. fever dream. George Lopez is, in a way, a lot of our spirit animals.
Just relax, all right? Let's talk about this like two civilized... I just lost the element of surprise. Call 911!
Alright, in 2005, the world would be graced with hijinks. What we have here are parents epically trolling their kids with epic pranks.
Candy is outlawed.
This is clearly during the era of Punk'd, but instead of seeing the angrier and more real side of a celebrity with some funny shenanigans, we instead get Nick Jr. levels of mischief on kids who, let's be honest, kids are kinda dumb. Pranking a kid isn't really fun since they're naturally pretty gullible to anything an adult says or does anyway. Luckily though, from the few clips I did see, the pranks are pretty harmless and not mean-spirited. I don't know, you ever see those clips of parents taking away their kids' Halloween candy as a prank and they start crying? Like, what's the joke? The kid's crying? Hilarious. Stop breathing, Jimmy Kimmel. For example, there's a prank where the mom's like, look at this, it's a famous singer. And then this lady starts singing and shatters the glass. And the kids are like, whoa, no way. So, I don't know, I guess if you want some wholesome punk, then this'll do the trick for you. There's not a lot of clips on YouTube I could find, and I'm definitely not paying any amount of money to watch it. But if this sounds like something you do want, then it's $5 on Amazon, I think. That's too steep for me. Alright, I'm just gonna lump these next two shows together because why not? Bet the House and At the Pucciarellis. Both of these are shorts as opposed to full-fledged programs. Bet the House has family members taking part in challenges to earn money. That's it, it's like a Mr. Beast video. Usually it's sponsored. Like in this one, the family members need to grab as many Arby's sauce packets as they can, and somehow that translates to money. It literally makes no sense. They're like, alright, you grabbed enough, here's $500.
25 Arby's sauce packets!
It is genuinely so stupid. At the Pucciarellis follows these talking dogs getting into misadventures. However, since the show doesn't really have a budget, there's no peanut butter in the mouth to make it seem like they're talking or training them to do scenarios.
Everyone, this is Cecil.
Hello! So you're Pete?
Yeah, Dad.
I can't thank you enough. What a girl!
It looks like they literally just let these dogs roam around the house and do whatever they wanted, and then in post they just dubbed over some random dialogue.
I'm back and this house is completely clean? It even smells fresh and clean.
Sure does, honey.
Again, it's just not entertaining. It's literally like me dubbing over some animal clips. Hey, you want a cheeseburger? Nah, not really. Alright, what do you want? I don't know, anything but a cheeseburger. You see how lame this is? And again, this might be okay on Nick Jr., but this is Nick at Night. What hardworking adult or stupid teenager, for that matter, wants to watch this?
Oh, who's that?
Good night, all.
Alright, here's Nick at Night's second and last original animated series, Glenn Martin DDS.
Check it, Dad. I'm so hard right now.
Now, just by looking at this show, it is infinitely more interesting than what we've seen so far. Stop motion in 2009 feels like such a treat for the eyes. It was done by Cup of Coffee Studios, who worked on JoJo's Circus and Celebrity Deathmatch. I knew this looked good! Glenn Martin DDS follows a stupid but probably lovable dad/dentist named Glenn. He takes his insane family on a road trip in their RV to strengthen their bond and take his work on the road, offering his amazing dental services straight from the RV.
I'm gonna tell the Tooth Fairy to kill you.
Of course, the family adventures aren't that cut and dry. Glenn's family is full of insane people. He has an awkward teenage boy who just wants to boink any girl in sight, a daughter who acts like a spoiled diva/successful businesswoman, her assistant, yeah, the daughter has an assistant who pretty much lives there also. She's from North Korea, Glenn's wife, who's probably the most normal, and their dog Canine, whose distinguishing feature is his comedically oversized anus.
When I'm president, I'm gonna give you the death penalty.
Despite having the stop-motion style I really like and being reminded of Celebrity Deathmatch, Martin DDS never really did it for me.
Dad, can you hold on one sec? Because it conflicts with Carly.
But Glenn Martin's problem is that it's fairly milquetoast when it comes to taking advantage of its mature rating. There's a few jokes and visual gags that are pretty clever and funny. Like, there's an episode where Glenn gets a GPS, and it talks to you, similar to Alexa. However, it gains sentience and starts developing a crush on Glenn, which Glenn reciprocates and is like, now having an affair with this device.
You like it slow, and you like it...
You okay, Doctor?
I'll just wipe this up.
See, that's kind of funny. There just needed to be more of it. Like, in this entire episode, that's the one joke. Also, when it comes to stop motion, sometimes visual gags are the best way to go. Again, to compare it to Celebrity Deathmatch, the amount of cartoony violence that can be portrayed with this stuff is amazing. I still have fond memories / scars of that show. Glenn Martin does have a couple of these visual gags that, if done more often and to a higher degree, it could have had that nightmare fuel nostalgia something like Mr. Meaty has today.
Cashews!
The show isn't bad by any means. Like I said, it does have funny moments, but they're just too far and few between.
Spinster, I never got to see your ears.
The show ran for 2 years and had 40 episodes. You can find season 1 uploaded on YouTube in its entirety. I guess we could check out one more episode.
Ordinarily, I don't grant interviews to media outlets I've never heard of.
Whoa, hold on. He just called Glenn's daughter fake news. May I remind you, this is 2009. People always talking about The Simpsons predicting the future. How about Glenn Martin DDS?
What makes you succeed at everything you touch?
It's all up here.
Alright, I think we're done here. Family Brain Surge. In the 90s, Nickelodeon had some pretty awesome game shows like Legends of the Hidden Temple, Double Dare, and Guts, just to name a few. They're all looked back upon fondly with their creative sets and general silliness. So, in 2011, Nickelodeon would continue that tradition and create Family Brain Surge. It's a game show where a team of a parent and child go up against other parents and their children in a battle of memorization and quizzes, where the losing families are then executed. Okay, maybe not that part. The show was hosted by Jeff Sutphin. However, some of you 2000s kids may know him better as Pick Boy. Actual legend. 5 teams would compete in 3 rounds that were fairly consistent with every episode. Round 1 is Brain Tease. These are always just visual puzzles the contestants need to remember. There's a silly cartoon that plays out these hilarious scenarios, and the kids and parents need to pay attention to detail.
Nobody wanted to unclog the kitchen sink. Mom's keys. Grandpa's dentures. Oh, there's Bessie.
It feels a lot like Jackbox if you ever played that. There's a lot of silly dialogue, jokes, puns, side tangents, and fun animations to distract you from the details.
A racket and a dirty diaper is all you need for Smells Badminton.
As you can see, it's pretty basic stuff. What order do these items appear? What color was the character's shoe? Details that, I'll be honest, I was playing from home while working on this video, and I pretty much could never get one answer right. For example, this quiz was about a forecast. Jeff is rambling and making some jokes, but the question ends up being, what was the lowest temperature that was shown? And honestly, I don't know. My attention is very deficit and hyperactive. Answering a certain amount of questions right will give you points. The family with the lowest points gets eliminated. However, you're simply not just going to be walking off set. Every elimination has the family going down the brain drain, which is a slide shooting out some kind of mysterious matter. It's probably slime, but it's not green. All slime is green, that's what Nickelodeon taught me. The families then move on to round 2, Brain Fart, where they're now all sitting on toilets. Obviously very highbrow humor. Here, Jeff reads from the
Jeff's big book of super fantastic true chronicles of truth that are absolutely true.
This is 2010's humor in a nutshell. The concept, however, is still much of the same as the last round. Jeff reads a story with a lot of details, accompanied with an animation. Afterwards, Jeff then asks details from the story again. Very similar to the last game. It's just a matter of paying attention, which I'm not good at. The only real variety we get is in the final round. Brain Trip. These panels on the floor light up in a certain pattern, and the kids and parent need to jump on them in the correct order. I'm so awful at this stuff, my brain just shuts down immediately. Do not play Brain Surge with me. We will always lose and not win the grand prize of winning a 4-day trip to Nickelodeon resorts in Florida. I've always wanted to go there. Again, I do enjoy the Jackbox-esque presentation of the games, but it's a little too repetitive for my liking. 2/3 of every episode is just watching a cartoon and memorizing the details. Heck, the final round is also memorization, but at least it's a bit more physically interesting. Every episode follows this format, which honestly, I could see getting old really quick. Heck, again, this is Nick at Night. Adults don't want to watch this, they want to watch Jeopardy!
Huh? Football? Ice cream sundae? Is that Justin Bieber's hair?
And as for kids, they especially don't want to watch this because it's like doing homework, paying attention to things and being quizzed. Yeah, this is schoolwork. At the time, I thought this was gonna flop hard, which it apparently did. Brain Surge made its debut in 2011 and concluded in 2011. There's definitely something here, but as for being Nickelodeon's next big game show, I guess we'll have to wait.
Welcome to Family Brain Surge, a show where all you need to win is a great memory and super concentration skills. I'm as excited as a sleeping bag full of cats.
Oh boy, here's Hollywood Heights.
What a show, babe.
What a crowd. Did you hear them?
Listen to that, they love you. Almost as much as I do.
Back at you, beautiful.
Never heard of this? Like me? Well hey, we were the lucky ones. The show was Nickelodeon's attempt at a dramatic soap opera. It's about these stupid teenagers who are up-and-coming musicians, and along the way they gotta deal with heartbreak, betrayal, and friendship, and yada yada. It's the same old garbage you'd expect from any generic teenage drama.
But you already have your ticket to the A-list just being Eddie's arm candy.
I want more than free bottle service and my photo on TMZ.
Boring.
Relax. He thinks you're at your fitting for your shoot tomorrow.
You tricked me into lying to him by sending that fake text.
Boring.
She's our daughter, Gus.
It's a dangerous precedent.
We have a right to know if she's telling us the truth.
Boring.
This look like a fun show to you? No, of course not. And I don't even care that I'm not giving it a fair shot. I literally had to go to Dailymotion to find any clips of it. 0 clips exist on YouTube, and YouTube has literally everything. There's commercials from the 70s on here. Do you know how embarrassing this is? While doing research on this show, I kept seeing it being referred to as a limited series, which I've never heard of. And apparently it means a program with an end date and a limit to the number of episodes. So like, every TV show ever? It'll be over when it's over. Great. It ran for 1 season and had 80 episodes? That's a limited release? 80 episodes? Breaking Bad, mind you, had 62 episodes and 5 seasons.
I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
Anyway, yeah, this was a dumb show that I never even heard of. 2012 Nickelodeon was a miserable time. Hit after hit, I see. Alright, this is See Dad Run. Some random sitcom I've never heard of. It stars Scott Baio of Happy Days fame, that TV show your parents and Seth MacFarlane absolutely loves. In this show, we follow actor David Hobbs, who plays a dad in a sitcom, now stepping out of the spotlight to let his wife get back into the saddle, who's also an actor, since she's been busy giving birth and raising their kids. So David now decides to be a stay-at-home dad. However, he has no experience with it apart from playing one on TV.
Suck it! Hey, I'm your dad, and a 3-time Emmy nominee. So when you decide to show me some respect, I'll be downstairs, sucking it.
That's pretty much the entire basis of the show. Chachi from Happy Days trying to figure out how to be a dad. It's honestly one of the most inoffensive and fine sitcoms to ever exist. It's not bad by any means. I wasn't tearing my hair out with annoying characters. But by proxy, it's also not that good. Every episode's setup, plots, and character archetypes are all ones you've seen in other sitcoms before. Their youngest daughter's character is just that she's cute.
I got this, okay? Come on.
Mommy, don't go. Please don't leave us for Daddy.
And God, it is kinda cute. The main appeal is just obviously Scott Baio, trying to get the old people to be like, oh man, I remember him, I just want to see him do stuff. It kind of reminds me of another TV show called Grandfathered. It had John Stamos and Josh Peck. It's like every millennial's dream. And the characters they play in that show is literally just Uncle Jesse and Josh. Hell, there's an episode where Drake shows up and they reference Drake and Josh.
You know, you remind me of my stepbrother.
Oh, but is he awesome?
No, he's in jail for stalking Oprah.
What? Hug me, brother!
That's kinda how this feels. You don't really care about the plots or anything, and the character isn't really a character. You're just gonna watch the show because, oh, the Happy Days guy. And then clap? I don't know, it's fine. Oh, I've been waiting for this one. Wendell Vinnie is unironically peak.
You know what kids like more than scrapbooking?
What?
Everything!
In 2013, Nickelodeon would give one of their top stars a show on Nick at Night. Jerry Trainer, known for his loving roles as Crazy Steve from Drake and Josh, and Spencer from iCarly. Wendell Vinnie follows a young boy named Wendell, a very smart and safe kid. He follows the rules, does his homework, and is all around a massive nerd.
I saw there were a couple girls in your class. Might be wearing bikinis, you know what I'm saying?
Skin cancer?
His parents passed away and is now left under the guardianship of his Uncle Vinny, who's the total opposite of Wendell, a slacker and total man-child. He plays video games, reads comics, and is your favorite goofball.
Hey, you want a peanut butter sandwich?
It'll make my throat close up and kill me.
So that's your setup. Wendell and Vinny are total opposites in their personalities. Vinny, despite being the adult, in most episodes is trying to have Wendell loosen up and have some fun to enjoy his life as a kid.
I'm not familiar with this bro code.
It's simple. A bro will do whatever it takes to help another bro get a date. Aside from coming up with funny names for boobs, that's pretty much it.
The setup is very similar to iCarly now that I think about it. This kid who lives with his goofy adult as a parent. Vinny works at like Hot Topic or something, and he's usually the source of Wendell's problem of the day.
Ooh, our neighbor's going for a jog in the park wearing booty shorts.
Mr. Lipschitz?
Oh.
Essentially, the show feels like an iCarly sequel. Like Carly moves away and one of their cousins moves in to take her place. Jerry Trainer is such a charismatic person to watch on TV. He takes full command of the camera anytime he's on screen.
How about some eggs and bacon and you tell me about Miss Pimentel?
Who's that?
A hot vice principal at school? Jealous?
No.
Yes, you are.
The plots aren't as zany and over the top like in iCarly. There's a bit of subtlety in the writing and pacing. I mean, kinda.
Please turn down your stupid video games. The neighbors have a petition.
You saw it?
I signed it.
I think this is the perfect formula for making a Nick at Night TV show. Stop trying to appeal to people who are already adults. They're not watching Nickelodeon. Instead, try and find ways to get your teenage audience, aka myself at the time, more invested in the programming. Wendell and Vinny is a lot of fun, because in the morning you'd be watching Spencer on iCarly being silly and wacky, but later in the night on the same channel, you'd see Spencer again, but now he's talking about things like sex and casually swearing.
When something good happens, say, "That was massive!" And when something bad happens, say, "Oh, that blows!"
Yeah, when I first heard that, I was hooked. The show is on Nick at Night, so being a bit more loose with what the characters can say or do, or the scenarios they find themselves in, is one of its strong points.
No, this stops now! We're in 15 minutes. No, this stops now.
It's also very heartwarming. Vinny is of course a nice guy at his core. He's just a bit of a big personality that everyone needs to get used to.
Your job isn't to prevent him from falling down. All you have to do is pick him up when he does.
I definitely feel like this was meant to be some kind of iCarly spin-off to give Jerry Trainer his own show on Nickelodeon, as is tradition. That's my own game theory. For whatever reason, I guess it just didn't work out, so he at least got a Nick at Night show. I never hear anybody talk about Wendell and Vinny, and honestly, that's kind of a shame. The show is really enjoyable. Nickelodeon actually put some of their sauce into this show. Sadly, it only ran for one season and had 20 episodes. Search it out if you can. And somebody out there, please give Jerry Trainer his own show again. He deserves it.
You know, I always wondered why your parents gave me custody of you. Now I realize they gave you custody of me.
What do you mean?
they figured you'd be great no matter who you lived with. But they wanted to give me a chance to grow up right.
And the last Nick at Nite original comes in the form of Instant Mom, starring Tia Mowry of Sister Sister fame. Just like C-Dad Run, I really don't have much to say here. It's another fine enough sitcom that I never watched back in the day. We follow Sister Sister Stephanie, who's a food blogger and all-around silly mom. And then shenanigans. You know, it's fine. Nick at Nite originals were really not the programming block's strong suit. I went on Twitter a while back and asked you guys what you thought of when you think Nick at Nite, and the responses all seem to follow a pattern. A lot of George Lopez, Home Improvement, Friends, Full House, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Ant Dude said Three's Company, so okay, we got a couple of grandmas in chat. But nobody really mentions the originals. Nobody's talking about Hollywood Heights or, sadly enough, Wendell and Vinnie. So before I make this video just me rambling about a hodgepodge of random sitcoms, I wanted to give it some type of focus and talk about the originals. You know, the things that didn't make Nick at Nite popular at all. If this is all Nick at Nite was ever going to be, it probably would have failed hard. I understand wanting to make your own programs. However, just airing older shows was clearly the route to success. So I think I'll end it here. But let me know your favorite Nick at Nite TV show or memory as a whole. Did you like Wendell and Vinnie? Please say yes. And I'll see you next time.